Alright, I'm back from Planet Coaster, and last time we completed this section on the outside to design it up a bit. And now we're going to be moving to a different section of the park since I consider this the entrance done for now. We are going to start on the swamp area, which I already did an episode on, which was about an hour's worth, and I scrapped it because I didn't like how it turned out. I think my problem with it was I spaced everything out too much. I need to condense it down into a smaller area because it didn't. Here, I'll show you what it looked like. We'll do that. So here's the episode that I scrapped. And as you can see, I didn't make much progress in one episode. I was pretty much testing out terrain, colors, and everything, and trying to place down dead trees so it would look like. And I come to the conclusion, trying different paths and everything, that I made this way too big for what it was. I gotta slow this down, and here's a tree I'll be adding in the middle of all this deadness that has something alive and all these flowers and bushes around it, so it'll look nice. But yeah, I made this entirely too big. I think if I scale it down to maybe like right here with all of this and maybe have a graveyard next to it or in it at some point, that'll be much better. Because as it stands now, trying to fill this much space just wouldn't work. Because the plan is I'm still going to build up the side here with the hills, so it goes around the walkway thing, which will probably be changed and everything. And I want a mountain going up the side here, and I want it going along the back here so it fits in with the witch's house that I'm going to be putting here with the ride. So we're going to try to replicate a decent amount of what we did today, but we're going to change it up. So I'll see you back on the other save. And I know you're probably thinking, why don't you just stick with what you made and alter it from there, but it just wouldn't work in the way I want to remake it. It would take more effort to destroy it than it would to rebuild it from scratch, if that makes sense. So we're going to try to close this in a little bit shorter this time. Why is it like skipping this part? That was weird. The terrain tool, it's like a little delayed from where you're moving, see how it doesn't stick directly to the mouse? So you gotta be very careful with how you do this. You gotta go slow. And we'll mesh this down so it fits. I'm just trying to get a general idea of what we're doing here. Yeah, I'd say to here and cut it off here. And wherever the mountain is to that. And we'll have another entrance coming through. I think that's much better with just this than going all the way over to here. That cuts up a huge chunk that I have to make. Because I work better whenever I have boundaries. If you just gave me a blank slate, I couldn't. I suck at making things like that. Now this will have to alter here and there just so it doesn't look as weird from the outside. Can you see that from the entrance? The weirdness of that. Not really. That's hidden pretty well, so I might be able to get away with it looking like that. Although knowing me, I'll probably change it. Because I'm obsessed with that type of detail. So at least, flatten it out slightly. And I was thinking this already pushed up part is a great section to just lift it up even higher. Keep in mind, these are like markers. I'm just not building the mountains or anything yet until the very end. And I also had an idea, if you remember in the other episodes how I put in, where are they at? If I can squeeze in here without the game flipping out. Of course I can't. The treasure chests that I put in here and put in the corner through that building. It's like a game within a game, I guess. We're going to hide, quote unquote, them around the theme park, and you get like a little sheet of paper whenever you go in. You have to like find all 6 or 7 or however many I put in there. I know, you're never going to be able to do it. It's not real, I understand. But follows with what I want in this park, okay? So leave me alone. There we go. So we'll just connect that up. So we have this whole area to work with now. Give or take a little bit from pushing it down, smoothing it out. So I think I will just push this in slightly. Because I can build around that. Okay. Especially over here. I know I can turn on the intensity and smooth it out and everything, which we'll do. We will do that, don't worry. Just getting the general idea of what we're doing here. Wow, you see how weird that went? I wasn't even over there. Okay, much better. Much, much better. So now if we change the terrain to dead grass... That was my base for the swampy look. Okay, that's changed, and I definitely want to change the inside here to rock. Even on the ceiling, yeah. Let's make it a whole rocky thing whenever you go in. It's pretty good. We could always buff out the top with grass if we need to. But that's kind of what I'm going for. So, works fine with me. And we'll have this designed up as well, obviously, with everything else in this park. Because the idea that I went for the terrain was like this. Scatter with this, and then you scatter some grass over it. And it gives it that nasty, disgusting looking, moldy grass rock texture that I wanted for this. So, use your imagination, okay? Look, I'm not the best person with creating these things. But the first thing I wanted to do, that's right, before I go any further, is just make the path, regardless of if we're going to change it or not to a different style, to at least make it. Because I found out before I recorded the other episode when I was messing around on my own, I do that quite a lot, to get an idea of what I want to do. Unfortunately, the one time I didn't do that is whenever I had to scrap that episode. Is that it's much better if you do this and then mold the terrain around it rather than trying to mold the walkways around the terrain. So again, we're going to have this go this way, and then we're going to have this break off eventually. Like right? No. Why? You know, it'd be nice if I could just get thank you. How nice of you to finally work. I say we'll leave it at this distance because I'm pretty sure the mountain's going to be pushed out further. And I wanted to interact with the witch's house that I'm building, so leave space to be pushed forward on that, or pushed back, whichever I decide. In this, I want to go straight up into that tree thing that I made, because that'll separate the graveyard from the witch's side. Keeping the dead theme throughout, but still. So how do we want to do this? I'm going to turn the length down. I don't want to make a perfect circle. So what I'll do is actually delete some of this so I have some space. Do I want an egg shape? No, I do not. So we're going to erase some of this and turn the length down. Still egg shaped, but not as bad, which it kind of fits in because I want the little extra thing of water there. So if I went to the terrain editor, sculpt it, pushed it down, turn the size down to like 2-ish. And maybe turn the intensity up a bit. Because I'm really going for a flat piece of ground here, just so I can get the flatten the foundation thing. Yeah, there we go. And I can mold that around however I want. Let's try to turn that. No, I can't turn that down to 1, but something like that, so it's broken off, and we can push these sides in so it's not as jagged, so it kind of molds down into the terrain. Get a little rougher texture to it. Looks a bit more natural, I think, whenever you do it that way. Could this turn into a disaster and I delete this episode as well? Yes. But if you're hearing this, then that means it worked out pretty well. Or at least to my liking. Enough that I can alter it later on with it not messing up. Because this honestly, so far, is the toughest part for me. Because it's more terrain-based than it is building-based. Let's just paint this green as a test, and we'll see how this looks. Let's make the size a bit bigger. Yeah, I want to get the edges, too. So the whole inside is, like, perfectly green and alive, and the outside is still dead. So let me turn that size down. I'll just take away that rim, because we don't want any live stuff to be outside of this. Okay, now we'll change this to rock, and we want to change this to rock on the bottom. Because I noticed you could see through the clear water, obviously. Even on the lowest settings, I was surprised that you could do that. I was not expecting that. But whenever I make the dirty water for the swamp, you can't really see under it, so I don't have to do much in terms of sculpting that. In any case, it makes this process go a little faster. Now that I've tested it before, scrapped an episode, and come back with a better understanding of what I want. Because, yeah, I put a lot of thought into it, though. I mean, I know it's, you know, it's just a little fake park, but if you don't put effort into it, it's never going to look nice, so I gotta know whenever to scrap things that aren't going to turn out well. I don't know if anybody else does that. I try to stay away from watching too much of what other people do, because then I'll get my own ideas and just rip them off. So I'd rather not do that. So I'm trying to stay away. I watched some tutorial videos, though, on certain things with terrain and everything, so that was nice. As you can see, they're not really helping because of how ugly this is. I might have to pull this out just because of how that went up against that. Let's pull that out. And then we'll push it down, lower the intensity. Just ever so slightly push this down. Ah, here's that tree. Okay. I was having trouble finding it. Do I want to face it this way? Yes. Just place that there for now. Yeah, because I figured that'll look much nicer in an area where it's just dead things, rather than, because I was going to originally put this in the forest area. But I figured the forest is going to look nice, so we don't want extra nice in there, if that makes sense. We want some dead things around the nice things. So the water, we do calm water. Oh, now I can't make water here. Oh, it worked great the other time. Why can't I do water here? What the hell? Is it because certain areas are so low, like this? Oh, that'd be why. If I probably raised that, this seems to be the lowest part. Man, what a pain this was. So what I had to do was redo the whole thing and make it a little bigger. But I think the bigger part is going to help for this. And then I can start molding around the terrain. I probably should have put the water in first before I did that before. That would have probably helped out a bunch. Let's turn on the intensity of that. A little nicer on the sharp edges we got going on here. That way the water's in there already, so we don't have to worry about fucking it up later. Yeah, something like this is going to turn out much better. Just try to take the jagged edges out as much as possible here. I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but switching it over to rocks helps a bit. And giving the illusion that it's, you know, a little more jagged. Okay, so now that that's done, the plan is just put a lot of benches on the inside with all the flowers and all the nice colorful things and have all the dead stuff around it. Because I believe right here is whenever we'll start our cemetery, then we'll have a ride. Nice, decent sized ride back here. Maybe even, this might be where I put the second coaster. Yeah, that'll be, okay, that'll be good. That'll fill up a nice, decent amount of space. Second coaster here, because it's like a medium-sized coaster. Small coaster is going to go over here in the village somewhere. Then you have the big, huge coaster up there, and then we'll have other rides spotted along the back. Okay. Seems good to me. Now the next thing I want to do is start sculpting out where the water should be in this area. Because I want a bridge here like I had before. So let's try to push that down to that, and then, you know, why not have it that wide to start with? At least cutting through there, and then we'll turn that down. And we'll just see if we can dot it around as we go. So I kind of want it to go up to that, in a way. And by that I mean the witch's house and all the rides up here. So that'll be alterable. But dotted throughout, I want little patches of water. You know, just like as it's sunken in, it rains too much. Now, I was going to put a lot of effects here. And, you know, that's nice and everything, but the problem is that's going to slow my game down to hell. I was going to have steam and water and a lot of misty stuff going through here. So we're going to hold off on that. I'd say until the very end. Because I do not want to slow the game down. Because I've noticed even whenever I put the fire down over here, whenever I zoom in on it, I can hear my computer getting louder and louder. So, whenever it's on. Even then, I don't want to pause it and have, you know, that there. As nice as it would look, it would really add to the theme going for. Can I even add water in these? Yeah, okay. There's water that can go into these. Just this is what I'm going for. See, kind of like that, where it's just dotted in. Oh, that's separated. What? That's not how water works, game. I think I better delete that before I cause a problem. Yeah, so if we delete this path now. Come on, delete. This path system is, no offense, but it's garbage. It needs to be changed. Or at least altered in the next game. If they ever decide to make a next game. Let's just smack that away. Why is that little bit sticking out? No idea. Okay, that works. Now the problem is, will I be able to make a bridge? Sometimes this game does not cooperate. Oh, wait. Okay, we can always change that, but hey, at least we got the bridge. I'm okay with that. That's changeable. Water. Can I get the water up here? Yeah, we don't want clean water. We want dirty water. Yeah, some nice dirty water. Which reminds me, did I make this clean? Let's change that. Yeah, I did. No wonder why it looks so nice. Oh, wait, could I get that up there? Ooh, okay, I like that. So we'll just change this to rocks. Around the edges of everything. Because we're not going to be altering this stuff. This can be rocky texture. Because you can see the green poking out. Although a nice little touch to it, but... just want to cover it in with rocks. We can dot the green in as we go. But here you want to mold this to the wall and everything. Mold this to the wall. What am I talking about? Make it look not as jagged as, you know, before, so... I think regardless, I'm much happier with how this turned out so far than the other area. It's that other area. Not my favorite. Oh, there we go. Water. A little deeper, maybe. Nope. Just not gonna do it, huh? Oh wait, there you go. Okay, definitely looking better in my eyes. So now if I start changing the terrain to that nasty color that I had before, which it was just make this a rock, and then dot down the other rock, and then dot down some grass in it. Gives it that ugly green texture that I want. Or you just think it's like mossy rock, but it's not. Even dotted in with some of the lighter green, just to change it up. Yeah, I'm definitely okay with that. Because you have to kind of use your imagination with this. It's not the most, you know... There's no mud texture, which I wish there was. I don't know why there isn't, actually. Because if there was just mud, I would make the whole thing like that and then work around it. But if we gotta do it this way, I will do it this way, no problem. I'm mainly doing this side because I know for a fact this is gonna stay the way it is. But it's like, I don't think I need to pull that down at all, really. It's the other side I need to make look more believable. Yeah, that's going to come down because the idea for this side is we're going to have a path that goes up along this whenever it's all pushed down and looks nicer. Ride's going to be in the middle, and then there's going to be a ride here, and that's going to have a walkway going up. Probably going to get rid of this in some fashion. And we'll design this insides here similar to how we designed this. Keep the theme pushing forward up through here while we had the village over here. Now, you know what I want here? I just remembered. I want the little hill here. So we're probably going to have to delete these walkways anyways, which is fine because they were kind of not meshing well with what was going on. So we go back to the terrain, which is over here. I'm still getting used to that. Pull this up just a bit. Okay, then this will just change the rock around the edges, keep the top slightly green. Something like that. There we go. No, I don't want water on it. What am I doing? Yeah, because then it'll be probably easier to connect that up from this way. Was it this walkway? Yeah, I don't... Why is that freaking out over that? There we go. Got that sorted out. To me, it's a much better start than what I had before. And I know it's hard to not have green in there, similar to this green, but there's not much I can really do. Play with your imagination a little bit here. I know I'm going to stress that as we go. Now, the one thing I did like, whoops, was not getting stuck on a rock. It was, and not the camera resetting either. Jesus Christ. It was switching the light to like 6 p.m. I think it was. Yeah, whenever the sun just starting to set over that. But if we had the light in the mist going up, you know, without the computer exploding. And that lights up too in the dark. I think that looks way better. You know what, this little bit right here, if you look from this side, looks off compared to everything else. I gotta make more rock texture on here, because I do want to design this up before I leave today. Let's turn that down just a bit. Just cover that over with a little more rocks than usual. Okay, there we go. We'll just push this in ever so slightly. There we go. That's weird. That's like a... Didn't know the texture went out that far to where it's like an invisible wall. Even on the underside of it. That's really weird. Yes, I do want a couple of these in here, which... Yes, thanks Steam. That's really what I wanted. I wanted Steam to pop up. Which, why they don't conform to the water, I have no idea. So trying to line this up is going to be a bitch. I honestly can't tell if I got that on there or not. I will have to change that. That is so weird. Yeah, I'd say that's as close as I'm going to get it to being on the water. Right? Shit, I should probably just... No, I don't want to duplicate that. What's the other one look like? Oh, it just has no flower on it? Okay. We'll do that last, because this seems to be the most pain in the ass thing. I know I probably mentioned this before, but you know what bugs me? I can change the color of these flowers to whatever I want. Like, let's say I want darker gold or whatever. Yeah, there you go. But just because these are called red floral bushes, I can't change them to a different color. You know how nice it would be if I could just swap that out to any color? Why it's like that, I don't know. And there's another... This bush I can change colors for some reason. Which, I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't fit with what I want. See, I kind of want a darker green, nice bright blue. Or yellow. Blue or yellow going through there, but I can't do that. It's a damn shame. What if I put the bush down and let's not make it the same color? Or do I want to stick to the theme? That'd be interesting, to stick with the theme of all the way over here with these blue flowers. Maybe. Even if they were a little darker shade, I wouldn't mind. At least for this little spot right here. So I'm just going to lay a few down, not on top of each other. I want to see what happens. See, then it starts to look... doesn't look right, so get rid of those. Oh, we got dead bushes as well. Perfect. I'm going to be using them along the way. Probably even like right here, because we'll put a light there. How many more do we have? Some of these start to have little bits of flowers in. Maybe like the closer you get to here, the more flowers that they have. Because it's starting to pick up on some of the life, just ever so slightly. Yeah, because number 2 has more. I'm just placing these down randomly now. 1, so they're there. 2, so I can copy them. Okay, this could work. What if I put this here instead? Yeah, get this out of here. A little different color would be nice. I can't change the color of it? Nope, I cannot. Now, see, that starts to cover the face. We don't want to cover the face of that. If you're looking from, like, this angle. Too big. As nice as it is. Maybe in the back. Yeah, I think that'll be much nicer. I am gonna have to throw one of these in here at some point, just because I like the color of these, how they look. Again, placing them down just as to have them in there. If I change this over to the light darker blue, how's that look in darker blue? You know, I actually like that. Let me try something. What if I did this? Where's like a smaller bush? A small one. No, don't. If I push that under, it made it look like grass sticking up. Okay, stop aligning to surface. That solves all the problems. Okay. Yeah, then I just made it look like grass was popping up. Although that is a little fucked up on the angle. Let me align you to the surface first. And we'll disalign you just to make sure you're straight. Oh yeah, and then I just mix in some of this into that, where you can just barely see it poking out. Just give it some extra height to it in certain spots. Right into here. So that right there looks much better with the little bits of grass poking up. Well, bushes pretending to be grass poking up through the top. It makes it look more alive than what I had originally planned. Now another thing is, I know I'm saying this a bit late, but this is something I have to experiment with on my own time just to make sure I get it right, because I'd be here forever trying to do it on camera. I want to make like vines of rock and trees pop up out of the ground, and like little, like huge vines, maybe like the size of one of these branches or thicker, popping out of the ground, like trying to reach over into the paths, and they'll be like covered in leaves and stuff. So maybe that'll be there in the next episode. I'm not quite sure. I have to mess around with it off camera to get the idea set. Now what I know I'm gonna do is copy this and fucking move this around, because I am not trying to replace that. I'll have to do it again with the other one, but that's okay. Because I want one more, like, right here. The original one. Or was it this one? Yeah, it was this one. Just go there. Because you're underwater. I need to bring you up. I copied you. I didn't mean to do that, but it's okay. I'm guessing that's good. I can't tell if that's underwater or not. Nope, just above. Okay. There we go. And this bush thing is probably something I'm going to do all around. To be honest. Just make it a little lower in front of the tree's face. Just so it doesn't get in the way too much. Nope, didn't want that. What did I just do? Oh, I placed one. No big deal. Work around it or delete it. No big deal. Why are you stuck? What the hell's happening? Oh, you still want to try to mold to that for some weird reason. I don't know why. So odd. This one can come up a bit higher on the back. I'll bring this down. Right here. There we go. I think that's the perfect way to end it for today. And with that, I'll see you next time, and we'll start on actually filling in the dead spots instead of building the colorful, happy spots. So yeah, till next time.